Nobody expected it to happen. No warnings. No flashing lights or booming sounds. 1 minute, the sun was shining like it always had, and the next, it was gone. Not hidden by clouds. Not blocked by an eclipse. Gone. As if someone had snuffed it out like a candle. At first, people thought it was a strange weather phenomenon. Scientists flooded the news channels, giving complicated explanations, telling everyone to stay calm. But within hours, the temperature began to plummet. Day never came. A thick darkness settled over the earth, so complete that even artificial light struggled to push it back. It wasn't just night, it was something heavier, something unnatural. In the small, isolated town of Grey Hollow, the fear spread faster than the cold. Houses boarded up their windows, people clung to whatever warmth they could find. Candles burned low, flashlights flickered, but the darkness outside remained alive, pressing against every door, every crack. And then, people began disappearing. Among the terrified townsfolk was Elijah, a high school teacher who had once taught classes about the power of the sun, about how life depended on its light. Now, with each passing day, he watched life drain out of the town. Plants withered, animals grew restless, and a strange sickness seemed to cling to the air itself. One night, while trying to fix a broken generator, Elijah heard it, a whispering sound, soft and urgent, coming from the woods behind his house. At first, he thought it was the wind. But when he listened closely, he realized it was calling his name. Elijah. Elijah. He tightened his grip on the wrench in his hand, heart hammering painfully in his chest. No one should have been outside. Not in this cold. Not in this darkness. And yet, the voice sounded familiar, like his wife's. But she had gone missing 2 nights ago, after stepping outside to look for their dog and never returning. Swallowing his fear, Elijah followed the voice into the woods. The trees stood like black skeletons against the even blacker sky. His flashlight barely pierced the gloom, its beam flickering weakly. Every step he took seemed to pull him deeper into a place that didn't belong to his world anymore. As he moved further in, he saw faint lights drifting between the trees, soft orbs of pale blue, moving in slow, hypnotic patterns. They looked beautiful, almost comforting. He wanted to reach out and touch them. But just as his fingers brushed the edge of one, it blinked out, and the whispering grew louder, harsher. Elijah, come closer. He stumbled forward, heart pounding, until he found himself standing in a clearing he didn't recognize. In the center stood an ancient, crumbling stone well. Black vines crawled up its sides, and a foul, cold air seeped from its depths. Above it, the darkness twisted, forming shapes, faces, maybe, or something worse. The voice from the well was no longer familiar. It was deeper
Bring
now,
them.
layered with something
Bring the
old and
others.
hungry.
Elijah staggered back, realizing with horror that it wasn't calling him out of love or memory. It was luring him, using his wife's voice like bait. He turned to run, but the ground beneath his feet cracked open like thin ice. Cold, skeletal hands reached up, grabbing at his ankles, pulling him down. With a desperate cry, he tore free and ran blindly through the woods. The hands scraped at his legs. The whispering chased him, growing louder, angrier. By the time he burst back into the town, he found it changed. The houses he had known all his life stood abandoned, their windows shattered, their doors hanging open. Strange symbols were scrawled across the walls in something that glowed faintly blue. The few remaining townspeople had gathered in the square, huddled together, whispering prayers into the dark. They looked up as Elijah stumbled in, their eyes wide with terror. But before he could warn them, the sky itself seemed to tear open. Not with light, but with deeper darkness, like a wound in the fabric of reality. From it descended shapes, tall, spindly figures with long arms and faces hidden behind veils of shadow. They moved silently, plucking people from the ground like children picking flowers. No screams filled the air, only the low, mournful hum of the darkness itself. Elijah tried to run, but something inside him had already given up. The cold seeped into his bones, slowing his movements. As he fell to his knees, he saw the old stone well from the woods standing at the center of the square now, as if it had always been there. From its depths, a voice called again, "Thank you, Elijah." The last thing he saw before the darkness swallowed him was a second sun rising in the sky, cold, dead, and watching. But it wasn't a sun, and it had finally found a world without light to call its own.